Dana Perino is here to help us right this ship this morning.
Help us.
Great. I mean, that's a tall order.
It is a tall order.
They didn't tell me I was responsible for that.
Can you do it? Ship writing? So Republicans are super excited this morning, of course. They
Cartwheels down Pennsylvania Avenue.
Right. It may not even just be about Donald Trump, but these down-ballot candidates. How big of a deal
Well,
is this?
I do think I think it's true that we don't know what's in them. It's true that Comey was very vague. It's true that Democrats are excited and that, that Republicans are excited and Democrats are like, what in the heck are you doing, Comey? So separate that out. I actually think that Republican candidates in some of these battleground states, like the ones that were getting very close, Missouri, Indiana, Pennsylvania, this will help them a lot in the last 10 days because instead of having to talk about Donald Trump all the time, they can just focus all their attention on the Democrats and Hillary, and they can say to their opponent, you tell me why you support Hillary Clinton. Are you comfortable with this? And it changes the topic for them going into
election day. Exactly right. And it reminds all of us that Carlos Danger is not just this embarrassing tabloid figure, but he was, in effect, part of the inner circle because he's married to Hillary Clinton's closest aide.
Can I tell you, so yes, I tend to think of things through a press secretary lens.
Yes.
So yesterday, I see the news break. I'm like, wow, that is a big deal. About an hour later, Gutfeld sends an email to the 5 team. And it's the information about Anthony Weiner, that this is connected to the sexting. And I belly laughed so hard, just because it's like an episode of Veep.
You can't make it up.
No, you could not. And as a press secretary, you can imagine that they were like, I'm going to need a raise.
And you saw Joe Biden's reaction to it when he heard. He was live doing an interview, and he said, oh, I didn't hear this. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. He didn't know what to say.
And as press secretary, you have to have reporters holding, like, up the front page of the New York Post. Now, this is not something you want to have to see with 10 or 11 days left in the election.
I had a friend email me last night and says, how do you explain this election to somebody from overseas? That don't know Anthony Weiner.
Or outer space.
And doesn't read the New York Post.
Is she going to have to fire Uma Abedin because, as Tucker mentioned, now they're all sort of involved in this? She's been Hillary Clinton's closest aide for years.
I saw Carl mention that. I don't know, because they've weathered the storm thus far. One of the things that one source inside, the problem is we don't have enough information, so much of this is speculative. That makes me a little uncomfortable. But they've weathered the storm thus far. And if the emails are duplicates of what they've already seen, does she need to resign or be fired? I would say no. I don't know. I don't have enough information to say whether she actually is a distraction, and if that even helps Hillary at this point.
So NBC is saying that there's, she's not in any of these emails. Right. We don't know any of that.
We don't know anything.
This is all on Twitter. Is it, and I don't know anything more than anyone else knows, but is it plausible that, it would seem very reckless to me that Comey would do this unless there was something real at the heart of it, right?
Well, yes, and I worked at the Justice Department for about almost a little under a year, right after 9/11, so got a little taste of how they operate in terms of very cautious.
Yes.
But I also don't know what was going on internally at the FBI.
Right.
So, and how much they had enough to look at. And I'm sympathetic to the idea that, what if they have this whole tranche of emails, they go to him and they say, boss,
what are you going to do with this?
And if he sat on it and didn't say anything until after the election, he's also
clearly he made that decision.
And Ron Hosko was on. I don't know if you caught him earlier on the show, former assistant director of the FBI, and what he said is he worked with Comey, of course, and he said, look, the guy he doesn't say mother may I. He doesn't have the White House calling him asking for a favor. He'll do what he's going to do on his own without people calling him and telling him what to do. And he said it's very likely that there could have been FBI agents that came to him with these concerns, and he wanted to be as transparent as possible.
Right. It's interesting. There's a rare moment of agreement between the Trump and the Clinton campaign. Yesterday, Mike Pence tweeted, we think that Comey should release all the emails. We get it all out there. And that's what John Podesta from the Hillary campaign said, too. Let's just see it all. So it is a little ironic that Hillary Clinton is calling for full transparency at this point. But I think if I were in their position, I would ask for the same thing.
I would do the same thing.
But no matter what's in it. Just let the chips fall where they may.
Do you want politicians influencing the course of a criminal investigation, no matter what? I mean, obviously, it's inopportune for voters, for all of us, to have this drop right before an election. On the other hand, isn't there a higher concern that a criminal investigation remains pristine and uninfluenced by?
Well, let's just say, if the shoe were on the other foot, and it was Republicans in that position, would we all be saying the same thing?
I
think the answer is no.
I'm just saying, but isn't our
yes, ultimately,
what we care about most is justice, right?
Well, especially, look, but the justice, especially in that case, is about Anthony Weiner having texting of a sexual nature with a 15-year-old girl. Yeah. That is crime.
Right.
For sure. That's that. And now it's separate. They find ancillary evidence from a computer that has to do with an investigation that's never closed. I can see where the Clinton campaign is saying, you have to give us more information to go on 11 days before an election. This is not Venezuela.
Right.
Right.
So you've talked a lot about the importance of the independent vote and how they're ultimately going to decide the outcome of this election. When you look at this past week for Hillary Clinton, whether it's this WikiLeaks dumps, the Obamacare premiums going up, or this email investigation being reopened, what do you think impacts people the most?
Oh, probably Obamacare, and then maybe this. But also there was a Clinton corruption questions, right? The memo that goes from Doug Band of Teneo to all the clients saying, hey, I'm going to be able to get all this money for access to Bill Clinton that I have. But here's the other thing for Democrats, like they cannot buy a break this week because the GDP numbers come in yesterday at the highest they've been in a long time, 2.9% for the third quarter. That didn't even get a blip on the radar screen. And I would imagine that President Obama is pulling what's left of his hair out.
No headlines today on that.
But we have 2.9% growth. We should get some credit, and they're not going to be able to. No one's going to talk about anything for about 10 days. But I do think that Comey is going to have to say something more. Maybe it's not going to be the full information, but people are going to, and people deserve more information, or else we're just going to speculate for 10 days.
Well, you've been super busy.
That.
You've been super busy this whole campaign season. You've got a new TV show, you've got new podcasts, you've been traveling like crazy, but you also wrote a brand new book.
Yes.
So you needed to take some time out, spend some time with the dog.
There's Jasper.
It's been a good distraction. Let me tell you about Jasper. We'll bring him on the set someday for you. It's a story about my love affair with dogs my whole life, growing up on the ranch and then all the way up to this crazy dog that's been with us at Fox News for 4.5 years. And the back half of it is these Photoshop galleries, which I think is modern art, done by a guy named 5fan Photoshop that I met on Twitter. He is exceedingly humble and is staying behind the scenes and anonymous. And I think we have another picture that he did just for you.
Well, he's a beautiful dog.
Really? Yeah, let's see. I think this is... There he is. The three of you interviewing Jasper on set, so I'll make sure to get you a print out of that.
You're so good with dogs.
I love dogs.
You are good with dogs.
I love dogs.
Do you know he has a girl dog named Dave?
Yes, I've never understood that.
In that interview...
Dave sleeps in the bed.
In that interview, when Jasper was on the show, we really got to the heart of the matter.
He really did.
We really drilled deep down.
What is he going to be for Halloween, by the way?
Captain America.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to Madison, Connecticut today to RJ Julia, an independent bookstore up there, and so he gets to go with me.
So America's dog is Captain America.
Go out and buy the book. Your last book was a big hit. Let me tell you about Jasper.
Thank you.
It's now out.
Go on your Instagram because I follow you and you have the best photos of your dog. Every day it makes my day.
My wife always says to me, nobody wants to see pictures of your dog, and I pointed to your book as evidence that's not true.
Or yeah, Dana's Instagram, which is
I like your wife. She's tough.
She's married to this guy. Got to be.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you, Dana.
Great to see you.